We used two of the most advanced AI models to create two characters. We will put them face to face. Their arguments will be evaluated by 5 independent AI models across multiple criteria, scored from 0 to 100. This is AI Debates. Would banning guns reduce violent crime?
Banning guns would not meaningfully reduce violent crime because criminals do not follow laws. History and global examples show that when guns are restricted, violent offenders often turn to illegal firearms or other weapons. In places with strict bans, black markets thrive, leaving law-abiding citizens disarmed while criminals remain armed. In fact, areas in the U.S. with more legally armed citizens often see lower rates of violent crime due to deterrence. Offenders are less likely to attack when they know potential victims could be armed. Moreover, the majority of gun crimes are committed with weapons obtained illegally, meaning bans primarily punish responsible citizens, not criminals. Violence stems from deeper social issues: poverty, gangs, drugs, and mental health challenges, not from the mere presence of firearms. Removing guns from lawful hands does not remove violence, it only shifts the balance of power toward those who ignore the law.
Yes, restricting open carry would reduce violent crime based on substantial evidence. Countries that implemented strict gun controls: Australia after Port Arthur, UK after Dunblane, saw significant drops in gun homicides and overall violent deaths. Open carry specifically increases violence through several mechanisms. It escalates routine disputes into deadly encounters, increases impulsive shootings during heated moments, and creates opportunities for gun theft. Studies show that visible weapons prime aggressive thoughts and behaviors in both carriers and observers. States with stronger gun regulations consistently have lower firearm death rates. The correlation is robust across different studies and timeframes. Even accounting for other factors like poverty and education, gun availability strongly predicts violence levels. The more guns, less crime theory lacks empirical support. Most credible research shows the opposite. More guns correlate with more violence, not less. This includes domestic violence. Guns increase intimate partner homicide risk 5-fold, suicide firearms make impulsive attempts more lethal, and accidental deaths. International comparisons are striking. Similar developed nations with strict gun laws have murder rates 10 to 50 times lower than the US. Culture matters, but weapon availability is the key variable.
Do guns make homes and communities safer or more dangerous?
Guns make homes and communities safer when they are in the hands of responsible citizens. A firearm provides immediate protection in situations where police cannot arrive in time, a common reality during emergencies. Studies show that defensive gun uses happen hundreds of thousands of times per year in the U.S., often preventing crimes without a shot being fired. In communities where lawful carry is common, criminals are less likely to attack, knowing potential victims can defend themselves. While opponents highlight risks like accidents or misuse, these are largely preventable through training, secure storage, and education. The presence of firearms doesn't automatically create danger, it reflects how they are handled. A community where only criminals have guns is far more dangerous than one where law-abiding citizens can defend themselves. Properly embraced, firearms are not a threat, but a safeguard, empowering families and strengthening the overall security of society.
Guns make homes and communities more dangerous, particularly when carried openly in public spaces. The evidence is overwhelming across multiple domains. In homes, guns increase risks dramatically: 3x higher homicide risk, 5x higher suicide risk, and significant accident dangers, especially with children present. The home protection narrative ignores that guns are far more likely to harm family members than intruders, either through domestic violence, impulsive suicide attempts, or accidents. In communities, open carry creates cascading dangers. Road rage incidents become deadly, bar fights turn fatal, and domestic disputes escalate when weapons are readily accessible. Areas with higher gun density consistently show higher violent crime rates. The deterrent effect is largely mythical. Criminals typically avoid confrontation entirely rather than being deterred by visible weapons. Meanwhile, open carry creates new risks: accidental discharges, weapons stolen from carriers, and intimidation that suppresses civic participation. International data strongly supports this. Communities in countries with strict gun controls have vastly lower violence rates while maintaining similar crime deterrence through other means. The net effect of widespread weapon carrying is increased danger, not increased safety, for ordinary citizens.
Are mass shootings preventable through gun restrictions?
Mass shootings are tragic, but gun restrictions alone cannot prevent them. Most shooters plan their attacks carefully, often obtaining weapons illegally or bypassing existing laws. Many states already have strict regulations, yet mass shootings still occur, proving that determined attackers find ways around restrictions. What's often overlooked is that mass shooters deliberately target gun-free zones, knowing victims will be defenseless. Allowing trained, responsible citizens to carry firearms creates a deterrent and the possibility of stopping an attack quickly, reducing casualties. Prevention should focus on identifying warning signs, addressing mental health issues, and improving security, not stripping away rights from millions of law-abiding gun owners. Restrictions tend to disarm the innocent while failing to stop the dangerous. True prevention comes from a layered approach that empowers communities and hardens targets, not from blanket bans that leave people vulnerable to those intent on doing harm. Yes, gun restrictions can significantly prevent mass shootings. International evidence strongly supports this connection. Countries that implemented strict gun controls after mass shooting events saw dramatic reductions in such incidents. Australia banned semi-automatic weapons after Port Arthur 1996 and has had no comparable mass shootings since. The UK similarly restricted guns after Dunblane 1996 with lasting results. These weren't coincidences, they were policy successes. Mass shooters overwhelmingly use legally obtained firearms, often carried openly before attacks or obtained through legal channels. Restricting public carry and access to high-capacity weapons directly limits their operational capability. Open carry specifically enables mass violence by normalizing weapon presence in public spaces, making it harder to identify threats until shooting begins. It also provides tactical advantages to potential shooters who can observe armed citizens and plan accordingly. Red flag laws, waiting periods, and carry restrictions have prevented numerous planned attacks when properly implemented. The U.S. experiences uniquely high mass shooting rates, not due to mental health issues comparable globally, but due to uniquely easy weapon access. While no policy prevents all violence, evidence clearly shows that comprehensive gun restrictions dramatically reduce mass casualty events.
Does gun ownership deter crime effectively?
Yes, gun ownership is an effective crime deterrent. Criminals prefer easy targets if they believe a victim or community is armed. The risk of committing a crime increases dramatically. Studies and surveys of offenders confirm that the possibility of encountering an armed citizen influences their decision-making. In fact, defensive gun use is far more common than many realize, often ending crimes without a shot fired because the threat of resistance is enough. Shall-issue states, where concealed carry is widely available, have frequently seen reductions in violent crime compared to areas with stricter limits. Importantly, guns serve as the great equalizer, allowing vulnerable individuals, the elderly, women, the disabled to stand on equal footing with stronger aggressors. A society where only criminals have guns emboldens lawbreakers, but a society where law-abiding citizens are armed forces criminals to think twice. In this way, gun ownership protects not just individuals, but whole communities.
Gun ownership does not effectively deter crime. This is one of the most thoroughly debunked myths in gun policy debates. Multiple rigorous studies show no credible deterrent effect, while revealing significant risks. The more guns, less crime hypothesis fails empirical testing. States with higher gun ownership rates consistently have higher, not lower, violent crime rates. International comparisons are even starker. Countries with strict gun controls have dramatically lower crime rates than the US. Open carry specifically fails as deterrence because most crimes aren't confrontational robberies where visible weapons might matter. Instead, they're domestic violence, gang disputes, or crimes of opportunity where deterrence is irrelevant. Real deterrence comes from effective policing, community programs, and addressing root causes like poverty and education. Countries achieving low crime rates rely on these evidence-based approaches, not civilian armament. The deterrence theory also ignores substitution effects. Criminals adapt by using more violence preemptively, targeting gun owners for weapon theft, or avoiding areas temporarily while continuing crime elsewhere. Meanwhile, widespread gun carrying creates new opportunities for violence, accidents, and impulsive crimes that far outweigh any theoretical deterrent benefits.
Should criminals' access to guns or civilians' access be the focus?
The focus should be on criminals' access to guns, not restricting civilians. Law-abiding citizens are not the ones driving violent crime. Criminals are. Yet many gun control measures primarily burden responsible owners while failing to stop illegal trafficking, straw purchases, or black market sales. When civilians' access is restricted, the balance of power shifts in favor of criminals who ignore the laws anyway. Instead, resources should go toward enforcing existing laws, strengthening background checks to target actual threats, and cracking down on illegal gun networks. Civilians, by contrast, are part of the solution. Armed, responsible citizens deter crime, protect their families, and often stop violent acts before police arrive. Treating lawful gun owners as the problem distracts from addressing the real sources of violence. A safer society comes not from disarming the responsible majority, but from preventing dangerous individuals from getting weapons in the first place.
Both must be addressed simultaneously, but restricting civilian access is the key to limiting criminal access. This isn't an either-or choice, it's a recognition that these issues are fundamentally connected. The vast majority of guns used in crime start as legal purchases. They enter criminal markets through straw purchases, theft from legal owners, especially those who carry openly, and private sales loopholes. Restricting civilian access, particularly open carry, directly reduces the supply pipeline to criminals. Countries that restricted civilian access saw dramatic drops in both legal and illegal gun violence. Australia's buyback didn't just reduce legal ownership, it reduced criminal gun use because fewer weapons were available to steal or divert. Open carry makes this problem worse by creating theft opportunities and normalizing weapon presence, making it harder to identify actual threats. When legal carriers display weapons publicly, it provides intelligence and opportunities for criminals. Focusing solely on criminal access while ignoring civilian access is like trying to drain a bathtub while leaving the faucet running. The evidence shows that comprehensive restrictions on civilian access, especially public carrying, is the most effective way to reduce both legal and illegal gun violence simultaneously.